Hello guys, this is Dr. Lior Bar-El here. Today I want to talk about the Ursa Mini. Okay, it's something I gotta tell. A lot of people are worried, especially people that went on the bandwagon a little bit later for the production camera, the Blackmagic production camera, 4K, or even the BMCC, the Blackmagic cinema camera. Now, from a guy who owns all three of their flagships, I gotta say I'm really excited about it. But the thing is, what people are starting to talk about, they're saying, "Oh, damn! You know, now it's gonna be extinct. These cameras are not gonna be anymore on the market, so they're gonna discontinue it." Okay, first off, guys, I'm gonna tell you something. Okay, let me first tell you about this, and I'll tell you how that's not true. But first, I'm gonna talk about this. If you buy the Blackmagic Ursa Mini at the premium, which means 4.6, not 4K, but the 4.6 Ultra HD sensor at 15 stops, that's freaking amazing. I mean, it has a lot of cool features. It's great. It has copper piping to cool it off, so the chip, because now you could cool off the sensor, it permits even to shoot at 4K at 60 frames per second. Now, if you buy the regular Mini, you're still shooting at 4K, but you have that 60 frame per second thing to, you know, high frame rates, which the other one does not. Which, by the way, I have opened the camera up. I know it is more than capable to do short bursts of like 10 seconds at 60 frames a second. For some reason, they do not want to do it, and I'm kind of pissed off because Blackmagic did make promises when they first came out with the camera, and they told me when I was in NAB, when I was in the CCW show here in New York, they were saying the same exact thing. They were saying that the high frame rates would come in a later update. The volume, bars would come out later. The VU meters would come out later, and now they came out with the VU meters. I'm hoping they are going to do some kind of short burst, but now that I see these cameras, I'm a little bit I'm kind of a little bit ticked, but kind of very happy. These cameras are amazing, but I'm a little bit ticked because I have a feeling too that now they're not going to do those short bursts. But if they do, I'm going to have a lot of respect for them. I mean, I know they made these promises anyway in the beginning when people were asking them, and all that. But the thing is, they didn't deliver. If they deliver now, I'm going to have respect for them, but even more respect because it shows, good faith that they care about their customers, which they do so far. From what I'm seeing here, they're listening to the customers, and that's why the Ursa Mini came out. Nobody wanted a giant camera. I used the Ursa. I found it really awesome to shoot stuff with. It's just, it's too big. You can't, it's hard to put it on, to carry it with a Steadicam. You need a real hard Steadicam to carry it with. It's just a hard camera to move around. It's not exactly your run and gun, guerrilla shooting, or anything, unless you put it on a tripod, really. So you could use a shoulder mount, whatever. But I wanted something small. I was kind of hoping, I was writing that down, if they can make the form factor smaller. So they did. They finally listened. But again, people, what you got to understand is now the issue about people saying, "Oh God, now everything is gonna go out, and that's it, and they're gonna discontinue the camera." Absolutely not. And I'm gonna tell you why. The 4K camera, the BMCC, the Blackmagic production camera, they're different tools. The form factor is small. They're never gonna get rid of that because even though the Ursa right now, the Ursa Mini is the new flagship, is the future, it is still dealing with CFast cards. Now, what is a CFast card? Well, CFast card 2.0 only goes up to, at this point, to 256. Okay, it's not even at 512, so it's not exactly practical. It reminds me of when I used to shoot in the HVX 200 days with P2 cards, and they're ridiculously expensive. I remember paying for a 4 gigabyte card on the HVX that gave me like 4 minutes for, what was it, about $1,500. So the CFast cards right now, you get a 256, but you're shooting at 4.6K or even 4K if you get the cheaper model. You're shooting it, and you're not gonna, I mean, when I shoot RAW on the BMCC 4K production camera, if I shoot RAW on a 512, I'm getting only roughly 20 minutes out of it. Okay? It's not practical to just have one. So I have like several STDs in my arsenal. In this case, you're going to be having to swap it out a lot. Now, if you don't shoot RAW and you shoot in regular, you're getting a good amount of space. But again, 256, when you want to shoot high productions at 4.6 and you want to shoot at slow frame rates or whatever, and you're doing it for, like when I converted my stuff into film, it looks beautiful. Even if you shoot on ProRes, but you want to shoot it at RAW. So if you want, you're serious about your production, you're really going to want to shoot out at RAW to get a beautiful master, all that good stuff. Now, the thing is, you're going to need more than one 256 card. You're going to need two. Now, one 256 card costs anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200. Okay, and now, so that's just talking about one. You get two, okay, so you're paying about, let's say, even $2,000. So people are all excited saying, oh, this is the same price. It's not the same price. The 4K is the same price. But if you get the 4K, you still have to add $2,000 more to it, plus anything, other accessories. You're dealing with a $5,000 camera. It's still a bargain. But again, people on a budget, especially people that are making it out from a DSLR world, or people that want something cheaper than a red camera that shoots beautiful images at 4K, and you can mix and match with the red cameras, and it looks, I mean, I love shooting it over the red. I use the Scarlet and all that at 4K. I just love using Blackmagic cameras right now. Before it was a different story. So the 4.6K, if you're going to get the beefy one, the EF lens, I mean for EF lenses and the ones that shoot at 4.6, you're going to be paying $5,000. You put $2,000 on top of that if you want like all the new stuff. So you got to pay the $5,000 for the new stuff. Put $2,000 on that. That's a $7,000 camera. That is outside a lot of people's budget. Today, Blackmagic gave the power to students even to be able to come out with Hollywood blockbusters, if you will, because you're going to be shooting at 4K. It looks brilliant, especially when you do it, when you transfer it to film. So what happens? People are saying, oh my God, they're going to discontinue. No. What's going to happen is most likely these the prices of these cameras are going to go down, which is a good thing. It'll let more people put their hands on it and have faith for in the Blackmagic company. Now, for another thing is $7,000. That's a lot of money you're going to be spending, and you're only going to get roughly. I mean, at 4.6, I'm not even sure, but I'm thinking you're going to get at RAW, maybe 10 minutes, even less than 10 minutes on each card. So you're going to need like two, and you could always swap them out. And they have, I believe, two slots in there, which is pretty cool. But you could always swap them out, and that's about it, like I used to do with my P2 cards. But again, like when I used to work with clients, a lot of the clients, they didn't like that every time I had to shut it off, enter it, shut it off, enter it, and do, to do that. So I bought two, and I used to swap the P2 cards back and forth, every time and swap and have somebody empty it out, just like you do with film, if anybody used film cameras, which you can't reuse, and they only last for like 4 minutes each roll. So, I mean, it is worth it. It's a great camera, but the thing is, it will not discontinue until those CFast 2.0 cards become more practical, more affordable. And now, what do I mean by that? I mean, if they can release a 512 gig for about $600 or $700-800 even, then it's practical. If you're spending about $1,000 to most likely $1,200 on each CFast card, that's a lot of money. That only shoots at half the point where you can get the SSDs much cheaper. You are spending a lot of money. I mean, if you're going to get technical, if out of the box, you're going to need I mean, it's not going to be ready unless you invest, like, if you make the move. Obviously, you have to invest in lenses and stuff, but I'm saying if you have to, make that move, you still got to buy the battery plate unless you still want to use that Tilta from the 4K camera, that you get that Tilta battery plate. But if you want one that attaches, you got to pay for that too. It's about $95 or something like that. I have no idea. The viewfinder is like 300 something from what I looked. I believe so. I mean, that's what I'm looking at here. It's, oh no, sorry. Viewfinder is about $1,495. You're going to be investing a lot of money. The shoulder kit is a lot of money. Everything that you spent on your 4K camera that you could shoot beautiful shots with, and it's going to pretty much be the same as the other 4K, except that one has 15, dynamic range at 15. But the thing is, if you light well and you do everything well, it's going to be hardly noticeable. The dynamic range is great. I mean, it's going to have a real Super 35 type, feel to it. But at the same time, you can get away with the other 4K camera as long as you light well and you do everything well. You'll have, I mean, I know it has more latitude. I'm not going to argue with that. It's a great camera. But again, $7,000. for the good one, $7,000 or even $5,000 compared to a $3,000 camera. Now, for those of you guys that want to pre-order, everybody I'm hearing, oh, let's pre-order. Guys, I've had 3 other cameras, okay? I'm going to tell you, I would highly not recommend pre-ordering Blackmagic cameras. I have been a faithful Blackmagic camera way before they made, Blackmagic fan, way before they made their cameras. I bought so many cards from them. I bought all kinds of things, you know, their accessories and all that good stuff that, you know, for the computer, the deck link. I bought everything you could imagine on that thing, on their site, and I love the Blackmagic's, you know, customer service, everything. The second they came out with cameras, their quality control was horrible. Okay, now I understand they were starting off, they got a little bit too carried away, and then they started coming out with billions of products at once. I just don't have faith in their pre-orders. And why? Because every single one that I ordered ended up coming late, way later than what, you know, what was expected. I remember I was so pissed off when the BMCC came out and spent $3,000 on it, and then suddenly they knock off $1,000. And thank God, I canceled one of my other ones that I did a pre-order on, and I canceled that. And then the 4K camera came out, and then before that happened, they knocked out $1,000 because they realized they made a mistake. I still think that they should have gave some kind of rebate to the other customers, especially from the 4K world, when people were suffering from FPNs and all kinds of other crap, and there's still people that are complaining about it. I would wait till those cameras are out. Once they are out, people are going to have it in their hands. I mean, it's not going to prevent you from doing your next blockbuster. Go with the 4K camera. It's just as great. You'll do a great job, and that's it. Or the BMCC. It's a beautiful camera that shoots great images as well. And I would go with these, you know, with 13 stops of dynamic range. I would do that. I would highly recommend it. I mean, when I do 4K, I do 3K, you know, delivery for, you know, for theaters. I do, you know, let's say HD for DVDs and so on and so forth. 2K sometimes I do deliveries because, you know, that's the way it is. I don't exactly take advantage of all the 4K, so there's no need for a 6K unless you, like, you know, when you want to crop and all that, it looks good. But I'm saying you would get away with it without that 0.6 and 15 stops of dynamic range. Let it take its course. Let people have their time on it, and I guarantee you're going to see loads of problems with it, and then people are going to wait just like they did. I mean, we just now got our VU meters not so long ago. Could you imagine? And then they made up every excuse in the book saying, well, we don't have the VU meters now, but you guys don't need it. You know, nobody shoots directly from the camera. Obviously, we don't shoot directly from the camera. We have mixers and all that. But again, it's good to have it. And you made a promise, and you said you promised you're going to do that. You got to deliver. Not deliver 2 years down the line. That was wrong. And I do believe that they should have some kind of trade-in. You know, I mean, obviously, you know, for the past people that had faith in their products and the products came out half-assed, and yes, it did. I know a lot of people are going to get pissed that I'm saying that, but it's true. It did come out half-assed. I was one of the early adopters of 3 of the cameras, and they all came out half-assed. And it, you know, they fixed it out through the cycles. But the point is, people had, you know, they had their promises, and only now most of the promises were being covered. You know, some of them you ask them, they're like, we never said that it could do it. We always said that you can't do slow motion. No, you didn't. When we were in NAB and we were in that in the beginning, they were saying that it will be available in the next firmware. Of course, it wasn't. And again, it came out later, and they had problems with their sensors, and all these people that had problems with their sensors, most of them kept it, and then they released another sensor. Guys, it's going to be a nightmare. Let them have it in other people's hands who get it for free, who have, you know, they test it. They don't even have test footage, and I'm seeing everybody pre-ordering. There's no need to go crazy, because everybody knows, even if they do deliver on their July date or whatever, which they never did do well on their delivery dates, and let's say it comes a year later, but let's say it even came out in July, if it's gonna have loads of problems with it. There's gonna be a lot of things to iron out, and I'm willing to bet on it. And in the end, it's gonna prevent you from doing things when you could have saved money and still made money off the other camera. And then gradually, by that time, hopefully, because there's now more companies doing CFast cards and all that. Hopefully, by that time, when they come out with their lines of cameras and it becomes mass produced, Hopefully by that time, other companies took on the CFast cards, and who knows, maybe the Mini 2 is going to come out. That's going to shoot at 6K. Maybe it'll be, the CFast cards are going to be less expensive. You know, the cards will come down definitely, and then the cameras will hopefully come down. If you want the CFast Mini when the 2 comes, this one's going to be, you know, cheaper. So I'm saying take your sweet ass time. Now, those are you guys that are starting from scratch. If I would say, like, if you're going from a DSLR world to this, I didn't like DSLR. I always filmed with, you know, professional cameras. But I'm saying if you're going from that DSLR and you don't have the money to spend $7,000, and, you know, you want to go for their was it $3,000 camera, again, you got to pay $2,000. And to make it really practical, we're talking about maybe $3,000 in addition. So I would recommend highly to go into the 4K department of the production camera, or even the BMCC, which I think is a phenomenal camera at 13 stops of dynamic range compared to the 12 stops of dynamic range, which I went into that, I believe, before. I do rather have global shutters. I mean, even though it's not a problem because I use great, you know, I know how to operate a Steadicam, I still like to have that freedom of having global shutters. It's great, and my clients love 4K, especially when I offer them that in the package. I always say we offer HD, we offer 2K packages, and we offer 4K, and most of the time people pick 4K all the time because it just looks amazing. And when you downscale it to that, it just looks exactly the same. So I mean, I'm gonna tell you, I would stick to those to move to that camera, save some money up, wait till these cameras are, you know, completely updated, are completely you know, see what the problems are, and believe me, you'll thank me later because I've been through this time and time again, 3 times with their stuff. Their quality control is not good. I don't care what anybody tells me, it's not good. The Blackmagic quality control is not good. Might be getting better, and for the camera department, I'm saying. The other stuff is amazing. I'm a big fan. It's just their camera department, their quality control is not good at all. A lot of the times they denied it. They said there's no FPN, there's no such thing, and then they started to admit there was FPN, then they said there was some problem. It's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But at least now they're listening. They are coming out with things. I think they're developing well, you know, through the years as a camera company as well. But I just don't have faith to drop $7,000. I have the money for it, but I'm not going to drop $7,000 when I have a perfect 4K camera here for, you know, 4.6. That shoots at 15 stops of dynamic range and does slow motion. I have other cameras that do slow motion. It's not a problem. But even if you didn't, you could even shoot with a DSLR. If you're doing an HD delivery, you could do it with that. Now, if you want to go to film, obviously, I don't recommend DSLRs. Just rent out a camera and you'll be fine shooting slow-mo. The thing is, again, it's like, it's not worth to invest right now. It's not worth to pre-order. If anybody knows Blackmagic, you do not pre-order. A lot of people were upset with their other cameras that they returned them, and they don't regret it. They are pissed still now because of what they've done. So I think, and now, you know, they corrected some things, but again, if they come out with their with their slow motion bursts for the 4K and all that, I'm going to be very thankful to them, and I will have faith, and I will eventually buy the Mini. In fact, I plan on buying 2. I had the Ursa, the big Ursa original I rented out. It wasn't practical for my needs. It's just too big of a camera. I am used to filming with big cameras, but again, it was just, I considered it very, very heavy. It was heavy for me. I lift weights and everything, but I'm saying it's heavy. It's not, you know, it's not like I'm weak, but it's heavy. It's a heavy camera. I mean, I've used big cameras that didn't weigh that much, and, you know, I think having all these features were awesome, but I was writing and I said I wish they had a smaller one, and look, it came out, the Mini. Except I wish they didn't have it on CFast cards. Right now you have excellent cooling. I mean, I'm looking at the cooling structure of it. It's like in a computer. Copper is a good heat conductor. And they got copper pipes. It's going to cool it off very nicely, and I think that that's the reason they're going to 60 frames, and I'm willing to bet they could even go further. I'm even thinking that they could do about 120 frames a second, and I'm willing to bet it'll come out later, again in firmware, hopefully, unless they come out with another camera and they want to push that. I don't know. I mean, it depends how their business department works, but so far, I mean, now they're listening, everything is good, and me and Blackmagic are cool, and I'm good with them, and I'm happy with their cameras that I have right now. But I will not invest in that till I see it in people's hands. There's a lot of people that are going to get it in their hands. Philip Bloom is most likely going to have it. You're going to see his reviews. You're going to see Coley from BMC User. He's going to probably have some things up there. So there's people that are going to get the camera, probably even pre-order it, and probably even get it for free to test it out and show. B&H is going to have videos, I'm sure. So there's a lot of people that are going to test it out. You as the consumer, I believe, should not invest right now in a pre-order. If anybody knows Blackmagic, they will tell you the same. Do not pre-order. Wait till you see it in action. Once you see it in action, then if you want it, go and get it afterwards, or wait. By that time already, I'm willing to bet the CFast cards will start to go down. And if you wait a little bit longer, like 6 months after, the CFast cards, judging by how many companies already want to do it, is going to start coming down gradually. But I do not think anytime soon these cameras that we have right now, like the 4K or the BMCC or even the Pocket, are going to be extinct or discontinued. That's not going to happen. So anytime soon. They're perfect cameras with their form factor. There's a reason for it, and they're great for a toolbox. For example, I would want to have my 4K camera. I can put it anywhere. I even put it on a copter. I would not want to put my Ursa Mini on a freaking helicopter. You're going to need a lot of power behind that. So it's things like that. There's always going to be a place for a form factor like that. And especially people that are transferring from the DSLR world, this is a perfect camera because you're used to having space. You're used to being in tight quarters. You can't do that with a Mini when you put the lenses and everything, unless you get pancake lenses or something. But you're going to get more freedom to use this little tiny camera that you could throw it around like a freaking GoPro. That's what I feel. When I first saw it, I was like, this is like a GoPro. And, you know, then I beefed it up with all kinds of stuff. And that's exactly why... I remember I spoke to the representative over there, and he said that's exactly why they came out with the Ursa, because people were beefing it up, and they said, hey, why don't we just do that? Put a monitor, put that. They're intelligent, they're awesome, and I really love their products. It's just their quality control is a little bit and I would wait to see it just to make sure that it's going the right direction before you invest money. That's just my take on it. So I wouldn't pre-order, and again, I don't think it's going to be discontinued due to that. You know, due to the fact that it's not gonna, you know, it's not practical at this point for people, especially because, I mean, if you look at it, Blackmagic wanted to target the independent director. They wanted to the independent filmmaker by making cheap products that, you know, you won't have to spend on a free, you know, $15,000 on a Red, or $20,000 or 25 like I did before, but 25 grand on Red cameras. You don't need to do that anymore. That's the whole point. They want to corner that market. So, you know, they're doing a good job at it. I don't think they're going to terminate the lower end cameras, even though they're not really lower end, but they're, you know, past flagships. They're not going to terminate that. So that's my thoughts on that. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think. Comment below. Like, subscribe, dislike. Yeah, I mean, like, subscribe, dislike. Let me know. I want to know what you guys think about that. But I'm telling you, I don't see that happening anytime soon. So, you know, I would wait till you see it, and then, you know, decide if you want to purchase it or not. If you're starting from scratch, I would still wait before you purchase. Okay, shoot on a DSLR. If you have something like a blockbuster film waiting to happen, and you got investors, then yeah, buy it. But if you don't, my recommendation is to wait. I really think you'd be saving a ton of money on waiting, because then you can make a decision, you know, whether or not. There's not going to be any competition for the Blackmagic camera at its price point. It's impossible. Believe me. I've looked when I was pissed off. Believe me, it's just not going to happen. So anyways, like, subscribe, dislike. Let me know what you think. Have a good one. Take care. Bye.